I left the theater this time fearing that the sun I'll go. Oh, hi there. I just got back from my second time watching Dune Part 2, the Denis Villeneuve. I didn't know it was French. I thought he was Spanish. I thought it was Villeneuve, but you look at it, it's Neuve. I should have knewed that. This is spur of the moment. Literally, I'm probably an hour after seeing it. My Letterboxd post will be out. I'll link my Letterboxd in the description below. But Dune Parts 1 and 2 have been incredible. I've been so Dune-pilled that I've coined. Since watching Dune Part 1, I got to see it for the first time in theaters about 2.5 weeks ago when they did a re-release in IMAX to prepare everybody for the coming of the Lisan al-Gaib for Part 2, which was fucking phenomenal. Part 1, the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, it's okay, it's whatever. But I had only watched it on my phone on an airplane because it got taken off of HBO Max or Max at the time. I don't even fucking remember. But even then, I was like, well, visually, it's nothing if not a gorgeous movie. Like Greg Fraser and Denis Villeneuve together, I'm like, holy shit, a match made in heaven. And there's a true direct vision and inspiration and love for the source material. And I'm not an expert on the book. I'm reading the book again after watching the movies and watching a lot of YouTube essays about the entire series, sort of spoiling it all for myself, but just being enamored with the entire world. And it's been incredible to find something that I'm fawning over, just head over heels. I can't get it out of my head. Like Star Wars. Like when I see good Star Wars, this is exactly what my brain is like. When I think of Andor, I think of the expanding world. Season 1 of Mandalorian. Revenge of the Sith, of course. That's fucking phenomenal. I mean, the original trilogy is so great, but it owes everything to Dune. And not only... It's like... Goddamn, I haven't had anything that could contend with my love for Star Wars. Like, Star Wars is number 1 in my entire life. Like, Gundam is pretty fucking sick. Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's so many IPs, and I hate using that word because I hate corporate lingo and just fucking executives in a position that aren't creative because, I don't know. Even if they want to make money, Dune Messiah should already be greenlit, motherfucker, but... I don't know. In any case, it's like I don't think I've had anything that has taken over my life quite like Dune has in a long time. I mean, the Batman was great. That was sort of short-lived for as long as I was obsessing over it. I mean, most of the obsession was leading up to it because I was like, Robert Pattinson, what the fuck? And then we see him on screen again, a Greg Fraser movie. Well, not his movie, but he fucking directed the photography in that, and it was gorgeous and phenomenal. Dune has taken over my life. That after I watched Dune Part 2 on opening day, I came home, grabbed my copy of Dune, and read 100 pages. That's how much... Arlen, get away from that. Lie down. You're okay. Yep, you're okay. Yep. 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 Hi. My dog. My Arrakis. My Dune. You gonna let me finish what I want to do? What do you want from me? I'm trying to do something. Oh, you're so sweet. Down. Down. Oh, you about to throw up? Oh! Down. You're okay. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing nothing. Yeah, I want to talk about this, like, without any fear of it. So just spoiler warning. I probably will spoil some stuff. Dune Part 2 is very much The Empire Strikes Back. Certainly you get the reveal of, spoiler, here it comes, it's a big one. It's probably one of the biggest things, but if you read the book, it's probably like fine, but I don't know if it's in the book, but it probably is in the book, because this is where I'm like, oh my god, this revelation, fucking George Lucas is a fucking uncreative hack, I guess, maybe. I don't know, like, this movie has got me shattering my beliefs and ideals. Like, I don't know the reveal that Paul Atreides and Jessica especially was a Harkonnen. What? Oh my god. And at the midpoint through the movie, so now you have to deal with that. And I've seen some people online that were saying like, oh, some character deaths were like underwhelming, and I'm pretty sure they're talking about, I think it's Radam or Robin or whatever, Dave Bautista's character and Baron Harkonnen. I was like, no, I think all three Harkonnen deaths in this movie were extremely satisfying, and especially from after seeing part two, being like, oh my god, I have to see Dune again, and I was like, I was trying to find the perfect time, so I went and saw Dune part two, but I scheduled it like a week away, and I'm like, in between, I'm gonna watch part one again, and part two makes part one so much better, and watching them back to back, like, oh my god, I've seen Dune 4 times in the span of like, well, not the original one, but I want to see the 1984 original one as well. Like I'm like, I want to absorb all of this at once. Like I'm like, gimme, 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 gimme. I'm being so greedy. I'm being greedy with the spice melange. I don't know. It's so incredible. This is just me gushing. I don't have any coherent, poetic thoughts to say other than I think it's incredible how this has overtaken almost maybe, like, I don't know, I'm sure maybe when the dust or the spice settles, oh, when it all settles, that maybe Star Wars will still be number one, because that's been a part of my life for so long, but Dune is just this new thing dangling in front of me, and I don't know, there's just something so incredible about part two. Like, Empire Strikes Back is my favorite. I'm wearing the shirt right now. I wore this to go see The Empire Strikes Back of Dune. Because oh my god, I don't know. But it makes me want to rewatch the original trilogy, and then I hate to compare two great works, but like, God, it's so incredible how this movie exhilarates me and makes me feel the way that I do. Like, there's no trilogy in recent memory that has done something like that. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm really excited that I'm bearing witness to one of the next bigger events cinematically. Like, you know, I didn't go to the theaters for Lord of the Rings, which was incredible. I would have loved to be at the height of Star Wars. You know, it's like the fandom keeps growing for Dune, and that's why I can't wait for Messiah. I really hope that Dune Messiah gets greenlit, because even so, this is an incredible just 2-part series. Like, because right at the end, I think Denis knew what he was doing and crafted this story well enough to almost trick the viewer to liking Paul. I mean, you are sympathetic for him because you're following him, and his, you know, in part one, his whole family basically gets obliterated. The people he looks up to, the people that looked after him, just slaughtered within like a month. Probably a little quicker. Like, basically, oh, we just get to this new planet, my whole life is uprooted, and now I have to become somebody completely different. And I love the echoes of the movie, because in part one, when he sees the visions and he's about to fight Jameis, he's about to have another knife fight, a duel with no music, because it's I felt the tension more the time when I was watching it here at home. I mean, I loved watching it in IMAX both movies in IMAX was fucking incredible. But on my second time watching Dune Part 1 within these past 2 weeks, I think yesterday before I watched Dune Part 2 today, just the silence in the final knife fights and how both the movies are almost structured fairly similarly. You know, you have the family. Part 1, he has his family, and he goes there, and then everything gets uprooted, and then his family is killed. And then in part 2, you know, he creates a new family with the Fremen after killing Paul Atreides, who didn't kill anyone. He's never killed a man before, and then he had to kill Jameis, because those were the steps he needed to take in order to become the Kwisatz Haderach. And then especially he needed to die physically, almost. I mean, the Bene Gesserit training that Jessica basically cheats the whole fucking system so they can get the Kwisatz Haderach early. I think that's the whole point, at least from the movies. I'm excited to finish the story through the book. I'm like 200 pages through. Got another 600 pages to go. Man, that's a fucking big thing. But it's a page turner after you understand all the fucking terms. Like, it's a lot to tackle in one go. Stay away from that. Stay away from the mic, Arlen. I'm trying to talk. I don't know. It's truly... Oh my god! Dune background. Letterboxd. I think truly it's one of the most influential pieces of cinema that I've ever seen. I think it's going to be a potential game changer as far as blockbuster cinema goes, because it has all of the makings of what your typical blockbuster will do, except, and I think mostly because of the source material, but it has very complex characters that you can connect to and be like, oh my god. Like Chani is the fucking voice of reason, She's like, the religion is how they enslave us all. And Paul being like, I don't want to go south, but then having just forced to go south, that's... Oh, man. Oh, the tangled webs we weave. Dune Part 2, yeah. It truly is like Empire Strikes Back in my mind, where Empire is one of my all-time favorite movies. I mean, obviously, it is like the climax of the action in the trilogy. That's where everything happens. So, of course, you're bound to be like, well, it's got all the good stuff. But the way this is crafted, the Harkonnen's death, the reveals, Paul... basically denying the Atreides side of himself to become Fremen, truly becoming Muad'Dib Usul, and then meeting Gurney Halleck again, and then Gurney is that reminder of who he is, or at least who he was, and who he wants to deny because he's found this new life. He can't go back. If he goes back to Paul Atreides, then he has to live with all that pain, or he has to potentially do what his mom wants him to do and become the Kwisatz Haderach. I mean, everything is... the one time he gets to make his choice and become Fremen and probably does something and finds true love, it's where not quite duty, but sort of destiny, maybe manifest destiny. I don't know. It's so weird. It's thinking about, how these characters can represent real life things. The Bene Gesserit are the true politics, and then the great houses, because everything is driven by profits, are all these corporations. And so, the Bene Gesserit, they're like, okay, well, which, corporation or corporate entity or something will produce something, some messianic figure that we want, like a power that the world has not seen before. I mean, what the galaxy itself has probably gone through thousands of emperors, all ruling many different ways, some with an iron fist, probably some a little bit more laissez-faire. I mean, it's crazy. How the Bene Gesserit machinations, we have several prospects, and I don't know. It has all the political intrigue. It has all the action you could ever want. Dune Part 2, fucking phenomenal. 10 out of 10. I think we've already got Best Picture, and it's only fucking March. And 2023 was honestly really fucking lucky that Dune Part 2 did not come out in that year. A lot of steep competition, and it probably, we wouldn't even be thinking about... I mean, Poor Things might be a clear number 3 or number 4, as far as nominations go for Best Picture. But, oh my god. I don't know, like... I love Dune!